In the Lies of P Overture DLC, Carlo's journey transcended time itself in an attempt to make a cherished friend's wish come true. However, little did he know that time is an unforgiving force that abhors a paradox. Despite his incredible efforts, did he truly make a difference, or did he set the legendary Stalker's fate in stone? But before we travel through time itself, I'd like to make an announcement. If you're new to the channel, I've started playing a game with viewers where I hide an Easter egg in the thumbnail of each of my videos. The first person to state what and where it is in the comments gets a shout out in the following video. Now, back to the matter at hand. After a grueling journey through the past, Carlo had finally tracked down the legendary Stalker to one of her coastal hideouts. Leia Florence was only paces away from her intended destination, the Rose Estate, also known as the Monad Charity House. However, her condition had taken a turn for the worse. Although she desperately sought to rescue her apprentice, Romeo, from the evil clutches of the sadistic Arleino, she could barely take in a breath without feeling immense pain. At some unknown point prior to these events, Leia had contracted the petrification disease and was standing firmly on death's door. Through sheer willpower alone and the help of countless painkillers, the legendary Stalker would honor her oath, no matter the cost. After the loss of her other apprentice, Carlo, she vowed to never be late again and to put the lives of her pupils and dear friends before her very own. Together the three, Leia, Carlo, and Romeo, were the best of friends. Each of them had found their own path as stalkers, and through their trauma and loss, a bond was formed. At a young age, Carlo had succumbed to the petrification disease, and Leia, reeling through her own losses and sacrifices, couldn't be there when Carlo needed her most. This loss devastated both Leia and Romeo. However, their resolve had been strengthened. After Arleino's escape from the Archon, disturbances at the zoo caught the attention of Romeo, who went to investigate further. Unfortunately, this was a trap set by the bloody artist himself to collect a debt that was long overdue. Years before the puppet frenzy in the fall of Krat, a murderous puppet by the name of Arleino went on a killing spree that took the lives of many stalkers, alchemists, and innocents alike. It was only until he faced off with the legendary Stalker that his bloody rampage was ended. In the battle, he was utterly devastated and slashed to bits. However, a high-ranking alchemist eager for knowledge and power retrieved the remains and began his research. After a time, he ordered his service engineers to rebuild Arleino with a few custom modifications and to transport him via his personal ship, the Archon. After his inevitable escape, there was only one thing on Arleino's mind: revenge. He took to the Krat Zoo and captured Romeo to ensure that he would draw the attention of Leia, the legendary Stalker. Fully aware of her past, Arleino purposefully led her to the Rose Estate to further pull on her heartstrings and drive the pain even deeper. However, there was one variable Arleino had not accounted for: Carlo's presence in this timeline. When the two old friends met, Leia failed to recognize the person who stood before her. Only after battling alongside the mysterious Master Stalker did she begin to realize the similarities. His fighting stance and techniques were all too familiar. But Leia's mind was clouded with pain and fury, so while they made their way towards the Rose Estate, the truth eluded her. As they entered the door using Leia's own key that she had lost in haste, she was fortunate that Carlo had been so attentive to detail. However, that relief was quickly stripped away by the dreadful sight of Romeo's arms dangling from the bloody artist's latest masterpiece. In their previous encounter, Leia had severed the arms and legs of Arleino, so he made sure that his work of art would pay homage to her in a way that only she could appreciate. This sadistic display brought Leia to her knees, but Carlo knew he had to press forward. As he made his way to the inner chambers of the Rose Estate, memories and new realizations alike flashed before him. The Monad Charity House incident was a cover-up for the alchemists' infighting and happened to serve as a fitting stage for Arleino's pièce de résistance. Not only that, but Carlo discovered his beautiful blue guide Sophia was actually the sister of Leia Florence, the legendary Stalker. Due to her father's high station among the alchemist's order, Valentinus Monad, despite his good intentions, was dabbling with dark forces. Aware of the path he would inevitably tread upon, Leia Florence severed all ties with her family and discarded the Monad surname. Armed with her signature sword that was gifted to her by her father, she would carve her name to legend as a stalker of unmatched skill and prowess. Carlo rushed ahead, but Leia had already begun the final epic encounter with Arleino. However, her skills alone would not suffice. In her current state, she was no match for the bloody artist, but with Carlo at her side, perhaps fate itself could be altered. The two master stalkers fought against the clock quite literally, and the sadistic puppet that had set all of this into motion. Together, the duo danced a deadly number that only they knew the moves to, and in the end, even Arleino, with all of his madness and metal, had no chance at victory. As the wicked puppet fell once again, Leia and Carlo rushed to Romeo's rescue. Much like in the present, Leia held Romeo, as Sophia had once held Carlo. Unbeknownst to them, the two sisters had much in common. Carlo offered to return the weapon she had wielded for so long, but Leia refused and gifted him the legendary rose sword instead. As the sun rose, she realized her wish had come true. The wish she had made in the secret room of the Krat Hotel. The mysterious master stalker was none other than Carlo himself, and the three had been reunited once again. As she turned in disbelief to thank her beloved apprentice, he vanished into a flurry of blue butterflies. Carlo had granted Leia her dying wish, and in that knowledge, she finally knew peace. In the distance, Geppetto lugged along an eerily familiar chest. Before Leia could even take notice, the master of the workshop union had already begun the summoning. Despite her impending doom, Leia felt no fear. As the nameless puppet stalked towards its prey, the legendary stalker placed all her faith in Carlo, comforted by the truth that her apprentice would soon reveal all to Krat. This was Carlo's story now, and not even death itself would defeat him. And that's all for this video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like and subscribe. It lets me know you want more content just like this. Click on these videos on screen to continue your journey through Krat, and I'll be there to guide you when you arrive. Consider becoming a member for exclusive perks like emojis, members-only videos, early access, and more. Or check out my Ko-fi page if you want to support me in a more personal way. Until next time, it's the Inhuman One signing out. Join the Inhuman community today.